Hi guys, welcome back to the Early Show with me, Pastor Gina, where I share with you news as well as unpack real-world events and also practical advice, all from a Dharma perspective to help us to navigate the challenges that we face every day. Before we start, I would just like to say a big thank you to the sponsors of today's video, Andrew Tan, as well as someone who wishes to remain anonymous. Thank you so much for your sponsorship and for your support of this program. Now today we're going to be talking about aliens. Well, actually, the question is, what do you think will happen when our universe eventually ends and Earth dies out? Will we be reincarnated into a different planet or even a different universe? So let's answer the first part of this two-part question. What do I think will happen when our universe eventually ends and the Earth dies out? I know that it will be replaced by something because that is exactly what the scriptures say. The scriptures say that once the time of the current Buddha is over, the new Buddha will appear in Bodhgaya. So obviously in a few thousand years time, Bodhgaya won't exist in exactly the same state as it is now. So what Guru His Eminence Tunku Rinpoche explained is that what the scriptures mean is not that the future Buddha will appear in Bodhgaya itself as it appears now. What the scriptures mean is that the future Buddha will appear at that very point in space where Bodhgaya is currently located. So whether Bodhgaya itself will actually exist in a few thousand years time at that point in time as it appears now, we don't know, but the future Buddha will appear at that very point in space, just as the current Buddha has predicted. So from that, we can infer that when the Earth eventually dies out, it will be replaced by something else so that the future Buddha can appear there. Now, as for the second part of the question, I really think that it can be summarized as, do aliens exist? Because if we're talking about being reincarnated on another planet, then we're inferring that life exists on other planets. Which means that if we're asking if life actually exists on other planets, we're in fact asking if aliens exist. And the short answer to that is yes. And interestingly, Rinpoche has answered that question for us before. Rinpoche said that we took rebirth here on Earth because of our karma, and that Earth exists in the way that it does as a result of our collective karma. So when our karma changes, the place that we take rebirth will change as well. And when our karma changes, we can take rebirth in a completely different part of the universe on a completely different planet. And when there are changes to our collective karma for the Earth to exist the way that it does, then the Earth will change too. So we can take rebirth anywhere in the universe, in any point, in any location. Our problem here is that when we're talking about taking rebirth as a human, we have a very fixed view of what it means to take rebirth as a human, or what it means to take rebirth in the human realm. In a different part of the universe, in a totally different part of the universe, what it means to be human can be something completely different, and it can exist beyond the realm of our imagination, beyond the realm of our perception, and beyond the realm of our understanding. Now, the original reason for why Rinpoche was even talking to us about any of this was because Rinpoche was teaching us about reincarnation and about how our hang-ups and our fixations can cause us suffering. Rinpoche said that our hang-ups and our fixations in this lifetime can leave very, very strong imprints, which can then go on to cause us great suffering if we were to take rebirth on another planet. For example, Rinpoche said that beings on another planet may not necessarily eat in the same way as us, they may not even eat the same things, they may not need so much sleep, they may not drink water. So, for example, on this planet, humans eat by putting food into our mouths, by chewing and then by swallowing. On another planet, however, Rinpoche explained that the people there may eat by touching their fingers to food. So, if our fixation on this planet and in this rebirth is eating and getting good food, and we're constantly looking for good food and to consume food in a particular way, imagine how much suffering we will experience if this strong imprint is carried forward with us into our future lifetimes on another planet, where eating food in that way that we're used to with that imprint is no longer biologically or physically possible. So, do beings on other planets exist? Rinpoche said, yes, they do. Just because we can't see them at this time, just because we can't communicate at this time, just because we cannot hear them at this time, does not mean that they do not exist. They may simply exist in a different form, on a different plane, on a different level, that we're just not able to reach out to yet. And so, can we take rebirth on another planet? Definitely. Even if this planet or this universe is completely destroyed, we will still take rebirth somewhere because our karma to take rebirths has not been extinguished. Now, what form we take rebirth at that time is dependent on our karma, and what planet we take rebirth on at that time is also dependent on our karma. So if the Earth implodes and dies out in 1,000 years time, in 1 billion years time, whatever, where will we take rebirth if we're still not enlightened at that time? Literally anywhere else in this galaxy, in other galaxies, in other universes, basically anywhere that our karma will take us. Welcome back to this week's PlantBased Life, where we talk about plant-based news, plant-based facts, plant-based products, and basically everything that you need to know in order to live a more plant-based life. So oftentimes, what I hear many people say is that they would like to go plant-based, but they don't know the first place to start. They don't have any ideas for recipes, they don't have the time, the recipes look too complicated, they don't know where to shop for ingredients and so on. So I wanted to share with you guys some of my favorite plant-based creators who are super interesting and putting out some very, very creative content out there. Hopefully the content that they're creating will inspire you to become more plant-based, or at least show you you how you can start to incorporate more plant-based recipes into your own diet. There are also some educational content creators on this list, and there are many more I'm sure, but these are just some of my favorites. All of these guys are creators whose accounts I regularly refer to. For example, Nora Taylor, who creates very simple, straightforward recipes which don't use a lot of complicated ingredients. There is also Ed Winters, also known as Earthling Ed, who I refer to for a lot of facts and a lot of information. What I like about him is that he has a very calm, very educational approach towards living a more plant-based life, towards living a more vegan life. And my favorite is when he debates with non-plant-based people using facts and using logic, and he remains very calm, very factual, and he's just such a pleasure to listen to. So why is it important to keep reading up, to keep learning? Because sometimes temptation can get the better of us. Sometimes our attachments can get the better of us. Sometimes old habits just die hard. But as Rumshi said, when we keep educating ourselves on the issues and we keep making ourselves aware of the issues, it's a way of remembering why it is that we chose to give up meat, and it's a way of helping to reaffirm our decision to do so. It's also a way of educating ourselves so that we can educate other people to help them to live a more compassionate lifestyle. So if you have parents, friends, partners and so on who keep asking you why you live a more plant-based life, why they should go vegan or vegetarian, these are some really good resources that you can refer to get information to share with them. Maybe you can find a recipe or two to pass over to them, to give them ideas for something that's delicious and something that's interesting, something that's easy to make, something that's nutritious, to show them that it really isn't all that hard to have a plant-based diet today. Welcome back to the Weekly Runner, where I tell you about news and events that are happening throughout our organization, as well as things that have happened in the past week. Last week we had a special animal liberation ceremony which I was able to participate in and film, so I would like to share that footage with you guys today. As I mentioned before, animal liberation is a very popular Buddhist practice. In this case, it started out early in the morning with fish that are destined for restaurants and kitchens, which were rescued from the market. They were then taken to a nearby river to be released. But before releasing them, the animals were blessed with prayers and blessed with mantras that were recited and then blown onto them. The motivation is to create further positivity in the mind of the animal and to increase the chances that they will take rebirth in a place in the future where they are able to practice Dharma. Animal liberations typically take place on auspicious days such as Lama Tsongkhapa Day, our Guru's birthday, as well as Wesak Day. They can also be conducted in honor of someone's special day, for example their wedding or their birthday, or they can also be conducted in dedication to someone's long life and healing. So last week, a special one-off animal liberation ceremony was conducted by Kachara House in dedication of someone's long life and healing. Now speaking of auspicious days, check out that segue. Wesak Day is coming up in just 3 weeks, which is really not that much time at all. So if you haven't arranged your offerings yet, please do so as soon as you can. Wesak Day is the most auspicious day in the calendar for Buddhists all around the world because that is the day that Buddha Shakyamuni was born, the day that he became enlightened, as well as the day that he entered Parinirvana. It is said that on Wesak Day, any offerings that we make or any prayers that we recite are multiplied by 100,000 times. So it is a really special day for us. So that's it from me for this week. Thank you guys so much for watching and thank you for joining me. And thank you again to the two sponsors of today's video, Andrew Tan as well as someone who wishes to remain anonymous. If you wish to sponsor a program for yourself, there is a link in the description section of this video where you can do so. And with that, I'll see you guys same time, same place next week. Have a great week ahead, and as ever, don't forget to be kind to each other. Bye!